So thanks everybody for your time. I haven't got time to speak to you properly because Scott's going to be really firm with me here. So I'm not going to tell you my life story. It's in 20 pictures as my kind of work career. So this is me as a kid when I had hair. I'm the one on the left. And this is the Natural History Museum in London. And at 6 years old, I got taken there as a birthday treat. And I thought, I really want to see whales and dolphins and work with whales and dolphins. That's never going to happen, is it? So I actually went and worked as a journalist. That was what I trained to do at university. And I worked for The Guardian. This is my kind of era because I'm a very, very old person. And so I was there at that kind of era when John Lennon got shot and was working in The Guardian. So I was trained as a journalist, was always interested in communication, but I looked at other journalists and thought, I'm not sure I want to end up like those guys. There's a lot of drinking and a lot of dubious morals, and I really wanted to go and save the world and enjoy wildlife and stuff. So I actually went to work for the RSPB, the Royal Society of Protection of Birds. That was stuff I was interested in as a kid, and I started volunteering for them and got work with them. But the bit of the job I really enjoyed was communicating with people. So I had this you wanted a crooked career path. This is a crooked career path. So I then got to see whales and dolphins. This is a blue whale. Because I started a wildlife watching tour company. So off the back of it, it began with birds, but I tried to smuggle in as many whale and dolphin locations as I possibly could. So I got other people to pay for me to go around the world looking at cetaceans, whales, dolphins, and porpoises. And this is the blue whale in Baja, California. And we used to do things like charter boats. And this was sailing down from San Diego into the Sea of Cortez, and an amazing place. If we ever get to travel and do things again, absolutely, you got to do that if that's your thing. Ultimate trip. And I got to do a lot of things. I was doing a lot of photography and going to places. So I stuck a couple of cheeky images in that don't really relate. I went to the Svalbard quite often, leading tours there, looking at polar bears. I went to Yellowstone a lot, leading tours, looking at wolves. And yeah, there were birdie things as well, but it was a ton of interesting things that I got to do. But I kind of had this crisis really running this company. I had like 18 staff and a lot of pressure around me. And at age 40, I just thought I've got to do something else. But I actually had convinced myself that I couldn't do anything else, that I was unemployable. And it was kind of like all that beckoned was some sad retirement at the end of the day. So, so I had some life coaching, which was transformative for me. And it made me think about doing something with my life that made the difference I really wanted to see. I wouldn't say I've done that, but it was a really interesting chance to step into something else and go in a different direction. So a guy that used to work for me as a guide, he and I set up this whale festival. We actually had this idea of bringing the world together around festivals and websites. All the 3,500 whale watching companies in the world, all the 350 nonprofits working on ocean things. Could we get everybody to work together and come to big events? So Whalefest was that thing. Pavan, who's on the call here, has done logistics event management for us around this. And we managed to recreate, this is actually in Brighton. So Whalefest was in Brighton. These are protesters on the streets in 1982. And it was the year that the world's governments banned or paused whaling. So 1982 was a landmark thing. So we recreated those protests 30 years later and had some of the original protesters there. And we used that as a shameless excuse to try and persuade more organizations to work together. And my business partner, Dylan Walker, and I capitalized on this. The Rainbow Warrior was offshore in 1982, and there were people strumming guitars and singing songs and saving the world. And we thought, why can't we do that again? And we pulled off our own stunts and things. This is not a real orca. This is an inflatable killer whale that absolutely did not need a crane that size to lift it. But we wanted to symbolize what it would take to release whales and dolphins in captivity back into the ocean. So we did like a flash mob thing. We got permission from the council, but the biggest crane we could find, 4,000 people gathered on the beach, and we hoisted this crane and carried it down to a boat and took it out to sea. So we got to play and have fun, but make some statements. And I got a credit that there were 900 volunteers helping deliver Whalefest, doing all sorts of things. Whatever their skills were, it fitted, whether they were social media or communicators or logistics people or background people. Everybody played a role in that. It was really inspirational. This is in the Brighton Centre in Brighton. We had 15,000 people come. We had all the Blue Planet team there. We had huge audiences. It was an awesome thing to be part of, but it nearly killed me, to be honest. It was like a really, really hard work. But it was like I tried to use my communication skills to lead a team to make a difference that way. And we had celebrities on stage and stuff. It was a lot of fun. But off the back of the festival, we managed to persuade a lot of organizations to start to work together. And my business partner, Dylan, for a long time was the secretariat of this global alliance of whale and dolphin organizations, whale watching companies, trying to bat for these animals in a more joined up way than perhaps has been done in the past. So hats off to him for doing that. And that came off the back of the festival. I now lead a team running Incredible Oceans, which is much more of a matching science and art and communicating about the oceans together. And we also have recently run this event called Siren Calling, which is actually a lot more to do with 15 to 25-year-olds who maybe have got that whole eco-anxiety thing, linking mental well-being and nature. And I couldn't resist sticking at the end because I'm kind of a spiritual person too. It's about that reconnection with nature, which we try to do through Whalefest as well. How do we animate people who would never come to a conservation event about caring about the planet and finding the roots into them? So I'll stop talking, but there's roots for everybody to make a difference, I guess is kind of the gist of it.